These are the stars of the show when it comes to your garden. Growing food in your own garden is so awesome, and here are 5 tips to get you started. If you want to get into gardening, just know that not all plants have to start with seeds. Planting from seeds is the traditional way of gardening, but there's a faster way you can speed things up. You may not know it, but you can actually clone a plant. All you need are cuttings from your plant and some rooting gel. This will spread its own roots and become its own plant with identical genetics. This can be done with any plant and gives you a head start on growing. You can share plants with friends, neighbors, family. It's a great way to grow plants without needing seeds. We're just gonna let these sit a while they develop those roots. These need to be covered, so I'm just clipping these. Plants really aren't that delicate, so don't be afraid to get in there. This is such a fascinating process. Nature is so cool. These are strawberries, and they'll turn into what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more strawberry plants from the one that was already growing. This can even work on larger plants like trees. Now we can take this cutting and make an exact copy of this whole tree. At the start, you'll lose a lot of that big foliage, but you'll see new growth like this green right here. There's a little more here. You'll be a big tree in no time. What a neat way to grow and share your favorite plants. In your garden, there's actually one bug that's great to see: worms. Worms will create castings, which is basically worm poop, and that is so good for your soil. It's a natural fertilizer. Now, worms won't always appear in your garden, but you can raise your own in a worm bin. Worms are a great pet. They'll eat your compost, your paper waste, and turn that into rich fertilizer. You don't have to be creeped out by worms. These guys are harmless, but they're so good in your garden. Space for worms really isn't a limitation. You can have a worm bin like this for any size garden anywhere. To start your worm bin, you can get worms from a lot of places online, or you can even check your local bait shop. As the population of worms grows in your bin, just add those to your garden or planters. That worm poop is great for your soil, and they'll act as a natural pest deterrent. Adding ice cubes is a great way to keep them cool and hydrated. Add in those ice cubes when the bin starts looking a little dry. And remember, they're not fish, so don't drown them. Whew, it's warm out here. I'm gonna show you all those do's and don'ts when it comes to composting in your kitchen. A compost bin is for every kitchen, no matter where you are. Instead of all that food waste going into the trash, you can reduce the amount of waste you have by putting it in the compost. If you're juicing some citrus, peeling an apple, anything, put all that scraps right into your compost. This banana, I'm not gonna eat the peel, of course, so that goes in there. Ooh, moldy, gross. When it's time to do that fridge clean out, anything that's gone bad and moldy, like these snap peas, I'm just gonna put them right in the bin. After breakfast or baking, these eggshells go right in there. But what shouldn't go in the compost is the inside of that egg. There's too much fat and protein to break down in the compost. As a general rule, you should avoid fats, cheeses, meats. These won't break down and they'll lead to a bad odor. Oils and liquids you should avoid as well. I use a lot of paper towels too in my kitchen, but instead of feeling bad about throwing these away, they'll go right into the compost. Even if you're trying to reduce the amount of waste in your life, you still get junk mail. That can go in your compost too. Shred up all that junk. Shredding helps give everything a head start to be broken down, and you can even add cardboard boxes. Also, make sure to not include any plastic tape. This paper tape will break down in your compost. All that paper waste is broken down and ready for the compost. Even if you don't have a garden or planters, you can still compost and donate it. When it comes to watering your plants, there's a few things you want to keep in mind. Anytime I'm watering the garden, I like to slip on some waterproof shoes. Remember, if you're out in the sun, shades and SPF are a must. Watering isn't something you want to rush. You want to water slowly at the base of the plant. You want to water over a long period of time so that water saturates the roots down deep. Just a slow trickle is all you need. This bowl shape dug around the tree will keep all the water from running off. This helps all that water get soaked up into the ground instead of evaporating up into the air. Keep the water low to the ground. Water on leaves can actually damage them. Instead of watering a little bit every day, it's actually best to water longer, less frequently. And if you're thinking about planting a new tree, call 811 first. That way they can come out and mark any in-ground utilities. And as a good rule of thumb, do all your watering in the morning. If there's one thing every garden needs, it's gotta be mulch. So mulch is just wood chips, and it's great in your garden because it helps reduce weeds. A thin layer is just like insulation, keeping those plant roots cool. Plants are just like me and you, they like cool temperatures. That layer of protection also helps retain moisture. Over time, this mulch will decompose, adding more nutrients to your soil. And it's best to mulch at least once a year. Bonus tip here, if you see new growth like this, go ahead and rip that out so it's not leaching nutrients from your tree. Take this out too. May look pretty, but it's not helping that tree. Now we've got a good layer of ground cover around this tree, keeping it happy and healthy. Problem solved. Thanks for watching Problem Solved. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and check out some of our other videos like these two right here.